What's going on, guys? So we have a Mavic 3 in front of me, not a Mavic 3 Cine, not even the Fly More combo, which essentially is the same thing, just more batteries and the little hipster case. But this is the Mavic 3 base model that I wanted to try one more time before, I don't know, I gave up on it. And essentially, I wasn't sure. I kind of want to like this drone, but I don't. And it definitely has a place, I guess, but who's anyone kidding? This really has been a big letdown to me. We waited so long for the Mavic 3 release, and this is what we got. And still months later, we're still farting around with the GPS issue. And I went and tested this all morning, and it didn't seem like that firmware update did anything, which leaves me to more frustration and just not really wanting to use this thing, because guess what? This is taking me away from using my other drones that don't have any issues. Got a brand new Inspire 2, I got an Autel Evo 2 Pro, an Evo 2 Pro Enterprise, Mini 2 that's rock solid. I sold my Nano Plus because I was not really loving that, and it's the same kind of thing. Put your energy in the drones that really make you happy and work for you. And this drone, I shot, for example, a little job or a little real estate job, and it was pretty cool using maybe the 2x zoom and the 7x zoom. The files weren't amazing, but I could see the purpose of having the zoom and maybe not needing super amazing resolution and detail. So it's not bad for that. I for sure would not spend the money on a Cine ever again. That's me. I mean, if you do enjoy this drone and you really want to use it in a professional workflow and you think you can and you will, then maybe having the ProRes footage is great. With my Cine that crashed, the SSD drive failed, so that was a big ordeal just getting DJI to get that footage back to me. So that is a realistic possibility with the Cine model, is that that internal SSD can fail, of course, if it goes in the water, but even if you have a hard impact, it may fail to mount like it did with me, which was a big, huge pain in the butt. So the Cine model felt better than this, but at the same time, the Cine model crashed into a building. So, you know, I mean, I'm pretty confident that all this GPS issue and all this stuff that we're still messing around with had something to do with my Cine model flying off on its own. And DJI would not have refunded me $6,000 if they didn't see something that didn't make sense. That's the reality. Anyone could say what they want. They could say I crashed it. That's beside the point. The bottom line is if it was really pilot error, they would not have refunded me that large amount of money, period. So I'm pretty confident that something is still going on almost, because they're still addressing the GPS lock issue as of today. And to me, it didn't do anything. So that just kind of leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth, not wanting to keep this drone. And it just doesn't make sense for me to hold on to another $2,500 drone that I really don't think is better than, say, for example, the Evo 2 Pro. And the reality is, I'm not made of money. A lot of people aren't. We work hard for our money. And to have money just sitting around, not doing anything. I mean, I got cases all over the place with drones, not a ton, but as I said, you know, Inspire 2 is a big amount of money for an investment. Evo 2 Pro Enterprise, a decent amount. And then the other Evo 2 Pro 6K, which to me can do the majority of my work, photography related and video related too. So to me, the Evo 2 Pro is still the workhorse. The Nano Plus was kind of a fail. In my opinion, the same thing with the Mavic 3. I do think this is a failed drone. I don't think it is anywhere near what it should have been and could have been. And I think this thing should have been so much more impressive than it is. We're still messing around with just being able to get the basic GPS lock. How many months later? So whatever, you know. The bottom line is this guy most likely is going to get returned, whether that's a fortunate or unfortunate. I just don't want to have my money tied up in equipment that I don't have peace of mind with. And this thing still, you know, even on the job the other day, I was in a zone where I had to unlock it, and it just takes that much more energy. Not that it's that big of a deal, but it can be. And you know what? Autel has no geofencing, and I'm going to take advantage of the no geofencing for as long as I can before that gets changed eventually too. So to me, Autel definitely for the win with no geofencing, especially on work and jobs, because guess what? It can really become a big pain when you have to unlock it, or maybe something happens where the unlock thing goes wrong. You need to be in front of a computer. So for me, this is the time to take advantage of Autel having no geofencing in place, and there's plenty of cool drones. I would go with the Lite Plus. You know, I'm not going to get into the Autel thing, but the Nano and the Lite base model, I don't know why they even came out with that personally. I think they should have only come out with the Nano Plus and the Lite Plus to make it less confusing. The Nano Plus I'd probably avoid. It's not a bad drone, but it's definitely not a great drone. And the Mini 2 for that type of 249 gram drone is a far more solid drone all across the board. And I would give up a little bit for low light because I got other drones that will be better in low light anyway than the Nano Plus, like my Evo 2 Pro 6K and 6K Enterprise. So the Lite Plus to me would be the option to get, especially for no geofencing, over the Mavic 3. The only cool thing and kind of a letdown is the zoom. I mean, you have the ability to zoom in. Maybe, you know, the top lens is 7 times, that's the native zoom for the top lens. But to me, I don't think it looks that good at all. To me, the best zoom on this is the 2-time zoom, and that's just what I feel works out the best as far as quality. And I know that's a digital zoom, I believe, but regardless, it's just nothing impressive. We got no manual mode, so we have to shoot in auto, JPEG only, which is not cool. So for me, the zoom feature almost should have been eliminated. The Mavic 2 zoom to me was more impressive for a zoom drone, and it's still a good drone. I'm sure a lot of people are still flying their Mavic 2 Zoom and their Mavic 2 Pros, and they're both really good drones. For as solid as the Mavic 2 Pro was when that thing was released, and we waited so long for the Mavic 3, and still we're trying to get the GPS satellite issue sorted, and we still have barely any manual controls, and it's just super limiting. I don't know. I think it's a big fail. And even though it's a cool drone, in theory, it's definitely not what it should have been again and could have been. So therefore, I am going to return this drone. Thankfully, it is not crashed like the Mavic 3 Cine that I had, but DJI, as I said, they did right by me. They refunded me my money, the refresh, everything. So that was good. It took a long time. It was a big nightmare and really not a fun ordeal, but thankfully the money went back into my account and you move on and fly another day. But I wanted to try the Mavic 3 just one more time to see with the firmware update and with everything else that was kind of in place, and I knew it wasn't going to be as crazy of an investment. I had a couple coupons for my DJI Select membership, so I utilized those for half off the refresh and stuff. But it just doesn't seem to be something that I think is worth the money. I'm going to hold off. You know, the Air 2S is a good solid drone. A lot of people fly and a lot of people love, but I think I'm going to wait for the Mini 3, and that will be the drone that I buy because I really love my Mini 2. For whatever it's worth, the Mini 2 is such a fun, complete drone with zero complaints. I totally don't regret having that drone, and if the Mini 3 builds on that experience, then it's going to be just super awesome, and I'm hoping it will. The geofencing with DJI, yeah, it's not fun. That's where the Nano Plus still will shine because you can take off and not have that to worry about, but it is what it is, and that's really about it. I mean, I don't know what I can talk about with the Mavic 3 other than the fact that it isn't the drone that I wanted it to be, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. I know they do. If you enjoy flying it and it works for you, that's awesome. You know, I could see this thing being a cool drone to use and fly. I can get good footage. I can make money with it, I guarantee. But as I said, I would rather fly my Evo 2 Pros over this because I know it's going to do a better job. And that's that. And this drone is going to keep me from flying my other drones, which I know are more capable, especially in low light. I still think the Evo 2 Pro 6K is superior in low light than the Mavic 3. So that's it. I mean, Mavic 3, not a bad little drone. This Sonova little landing pan is really cool, isn't it? So I'm going to do a little review on this guy. They actually didn't market this thing for the Inspire 2, but the Inspire 2 fit really beautifully on this. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little review on this Sonova LED light pad, landing pad, and that's going to be my next video. But just wanted to let you know why I'm going to be returning my Mavic 3 for essentially the second time, but the first time was really a refund. So with that being said, I have some Tiffin filters. If I do get rid of this thing, which I probably will, I'll give these away to someone. I'll probably give my Lycus case away to someone. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up button, and I'll pay it forward by stoking someone out with the Mavic 3 with this really quality Tiffin 6 filter kit, which has 3 ND filters, 4, 8, and 16, and then it has a 4, 8, and 16 polarizer, circular polarizer. So really awesome filters, really quality, and the Lycus case is awesome too, but if I'm not going to utilize it and it's just going to be sitting around, I might as well have someone enjoy it and get the stoke, and that's it. So Mavic 3, going to get returned probably within the next few days. It's kind of a cool drone. As I said, it's one of those things where you want to like it, but you know in your heart you don't. And it's just a pain in the butt. I mean, even as I said, getting the GPS lock, updating the firmware yesterday, flying it this morning a bunch of times, and literally it took 5, 6, 7 minutes, which I don't know if that's a long time, but it definitely is way longer than my Autels, and it just seems not right. So that doesn't give me a ton of confidence flying this drone, and that's it. So rambling right now. Aloha, guys. Peace, and have a good day. Bye.